6 hours. That's how long Amara had been tangled in his sheets. Her body was wrecked, trembling, every muscle crying out for rest. She could barely form words as she whispered, "Please. I need to stop." But Kang Min-suk wasn't finished. He stood at the foot of the bed, eyes burning with something primal and possessive, and spoke the words that would rewrite her entire life. "Every woman I've touched fell apart in 1 hour. But you lasted all 6. That makes you mine now. Permanently. Welcome back, friends. This is Prince of Afro-Korean stories, where passion, danger, and impossible romance intersect. Please keep sharing your ideas for future episodes. And kindly like, share, and subscribe, and activate notifications so you never miss our latest content. Then drop a comment telling me your location, Seoul, Chicago, somewhere between. I want to know who's bold enough to hear what really happened. As dawn light spilled through the windows, bathing the room in amber, Amara understood this wasn't some fleeting encounter anymore. This man was about to chain himself to her before she could even catch her breath. Her deep brown skin was slick with perspiration. Her coils were spread wild across the pillow. Everything hurt. Her legs, her spine, her center. Every inch of her body bore witness to the most intense night she'd ever experienced. She was a 26-year-old creative director from Chicago, in Seoul for a 3-month consulting gig. Yesterday evening at that high-end lounge was meant to be simple. Music, cocktails, maybe a brief escape from her isolated routine. Not this. Not waking to a marriage demand from a man who stared at her like she was his last breath. "You've lost your mind," she managed, trying to push herself upright. "We barely know each other." Min-suk prowled back onto the mattress, caging her beneath his frame. His face hovered inches from hers, and she could see something feral in those dark eyes. Something that made her pulse quicken despite her exhaustion. "I've been with countless women searching for one who wouldn't shatter under my intensity. Do you understand how extraordinary you are?" His hand cupped her jaw, thumb brushing her cheek with unexpected gentleness. Despite her weariness, despite her fatigue, heat bloomed low in her belly. Her body hadn't forgotten any of last night. Every murmured word, every caress that had unraveled her. Every time he'd made her cry out his name. "That's insane reasoning for marriage." Her voice emerged breathier than she wanted. "In 6 hours, you'll see why this isn't negotiable." His thumb traced her lower lip, stealing her breath. "It's the only way to ensure you survive." She searched his expression for deception, for games. But all she found was naked, terrified honesty and something that resembled genuine fear. "What are you saying?" He drew back slightly, jaw tightening. "I control half of Seoul's shadow economy. Nightclubs, properties, supply chains. I have rivals who'd celebrate destroying me by annihilating what I value." His eyes locked onto hers. "And after last night, after what happened between us, they already know you're important to me." "How could they possibly know? We just met. My security informed me an hour ago. 3 separate enemy factions have your photograph. They have your full name, your hotel, your workplace." His hand tightened on her face, possessive but not painful. "If I let you walk away as nothing, they'll abduct you, extract whatever they can, then execute you to send me a message." Amara's blood turned to ice. "You're manipulating me. Trying to frighten me. Am I?" He grabbed his phone from the nightstand, pulling up messages. Surveillance images of her leaving with him last night, captured from multiple angles. Another message displayed her hotel, her office, even her return flight details. This came through 30 minutes ago. They're mobilizing already. She felt the world tilt beneath her. This was actual. This was happening. So what? Her voice shook. You're imprisoning me in marriage for protection? That's deranged. It's the only solution. He set down the phone, both hands framing her face. As my girlfriend, you're a liability. As my wife, you're sacred. It's code in our world. Wives are forbidden territory. Even my most vicious enemies won't risk the war that touching my wife would trigger. This is lunacy. Yes, he agreed, pressing his forehead to hers. Absolute lunacy. But Amara, I've never experienced what I felt last night. Ever. You didn't just endure me. You matched me, challenged me, made me feel something I thought was impossible for me. What? She breathed, her heart thundering. Alive. His voice dropped to something raw and exposed. You made me feel alive, and I'm not prepared to lose that. I'm not prepared to lose you. Before she could answer, he kissed her. Not demanding, not forceful, but desperate. Like a man drowning who'd found air. And God help her, she kissed him back. Because beneath the terror and confusion, she felt it too. This impossible, overwhelming pull. When they separated, both breathing hard, he whispered, "Say yes. Marry me. Let me shield you. Let me keep you. And if I refuse?" Pain crossed his features. "Then I'll station guards on you constantly. I'll protect you from afar, but I'll lose you." He swallowed hard. "And that might actually destroy me." Amara stared into those dark eyes and saw something that stunned her. Genuine terror. This dangerous, commanding man was terrified of losing her. "You don't even know me." "I know enough." His thumb wiped away a tear she hadn't realized escaped. "I know you're resilient. You proved that last night. I know you're courageous. You're still here fighting with me instead of fleeing. I know you feel this too. This magnetism between us. And I know that 6 hours with you was more authentic than anything I've experienced in 32 years. She should refuse, should run, should contact authorities, the embassy, someone. But instead, she heard herself whisper, 6 hours. You're giving me 6 hours to decide, to prepare, he corrected softly. The choice is already made, Amara. You're mine now. The only question is whether you resist and make us both suffer, or accept it and let me show you this can become something extraordinary. The possessiveness should have horrified her. Instead, it sent heat through her exhausted frame. You're impossible. I'm desperate, he admitted. Desperate and obsessed and completely uncontrolled for the first time in my existence. You did this to me. Now let me do something for you. Let me keep you protected. Let me keep you mine. Mrs. Yoon, the refined designer, worked miracles. In 3 hours, she transformed Amara from a terrified woman in a borrowed robe to a stunning bride. The ivory silk gown hugged every curve, the off-shoulder cut showcasing her collarbones and the graceful line of her neck. You're breathtaking, Mrs. Yoon said gently, making final adjustments. But I see the fear in your eyes. Amara met her gaze in the mirror. I'm marrying a stranger. A dangerous stranger who's forcing this. I know. The older woman's expression turned melancholy. I've worked for the Kang family 30 years. I watched Min-suk grow from a gentle boy into an ice-cold man. His father was brutal. Beat the tenderness out of him. Taught him emotions were failure. Then why should I marry someone so damaged? Mrs. Yoon turned Amara to face her. Because in 30 years, I've never seen him look at anyone like he looked at you this morning. Like you were redemption. Like you were light in his darkness. She squeezed Amara's hands. That man is terrified of losing you. And for someone who fears nothing, that's remarkable. What if he harms me? He won't. But his world might. Mrs. Yoon's voice turned grave. I've dressed 3 of his former lovers for burial. Beautiful young women who rejected his protection. His enemies discovered them, tortured them, murdered them. Marriage to Min-suk is a prison, yes, but it's a prison that keeps you breathing. Before Amara could respond, someone knocked. A young woman entered, beautiful with glacial eyes and designer clothes. So this is her? She assessed Amara with obvious contempt. The American nobody who captured our tiger's attention. Jia, Mrs. Yoon's voice carried warning. Not today. Why not? Jia moved closer, her smile razor sharp. She should understand what she's entering. Min-suk and I were together 2 years. I know him better than anyone. And I promise you, he'll tire of you within a month. Just like he tired of me. Amara felt anger replace fear. If he tired of you, why are you here trying to intimidate me? Sounds like jealousy to me. Jia's eyes flashed. I'm trying to save you from the biggest mistake of your life. Min-suk doesn't love. He obsesses. And when the obsession fades, you'll be trapped in a marriage with a man who feels nothing. Get out. Min-suk's voice cut through the room like a blade. He stood in the doorway, and Amara had never seen him look so lethal. You were told to stay away from my wedding. I just wanted to meet her. Now you have. Leave before I have you removed. His eyes were black with fury. And Jia, if you approach my wife again, you'll regret it. After she left, Min-suk moved to Amara, his expression softening. I'm sorry. She's part of my past. A past I'm abandoning. She said you don't love, that you only obsess. She's right. He said it so plainly it made Amara's chest ache. I don't know how to love. My father beat that out of me. But obsession? His hand cupped her face. What I feel for you transcends obsession. It's consuming, overwhelming. I think about you constantly. When you're near, my world stabilizes. When you're not. He swallowed hard. I can barely breathe. That sounds exhausting. It is. He smiled faintly. But it's also the most incredible thing I've ever felt. And I want to learn, Amara. I want to learn how to transform this obsession into love. Will you teach me? She stared at this powerful, dangerous man asking her so vulnerably for something he'd never known. What if I can't? What if you can never love me the way I need? Then I'll spend every day trying. He pressed his forehead to hers. I'll spend every day proving I'm worthy of you, showing you that even someone as broken as me can become something better for the right person. And I'm the right person? You're the only person. He whispered it like a prayer. You're the only one who's ever made me want to be more than my darkness. The ceremony was intimate but surreal. Armed guards lined the small private chapel. Min-suk's grandmother sat front row, her calculating eyes missing nothing. Several family members occupied the other pews, all watching with shrewd interest. But when Min-suk turned to watch Amara walk down the aisle, everything else disappeared. He looked at her like she was oxygen, like she was everything. Amara felt her resolve wavering with each step. This was insane. This was coerced. This was wrong. But the way he looked at her, with such desperate hope and raw vulnerability, made something in her chest constrict. When she reached him, he took her hand and she felt it. That electric connection that had consumed them both the previous night. "You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen," he whispered, meant only for her. The priest spoke in Korean first, then English. When it came time for vows, Min-suk spoke from somewhere deep and honest. "I, Kang Min-suk, take you, Amara Williams, as my wife. I vow to protect you with my life, to give you everything you desire, and to prove every day that choosing me wasn't a mistake." His voice dropped, thick with emotion. "I vow to earn the love you don't yet feel. I vow to become the man you deserve. And I vow to make you happy, even if it takes me a lifetime to learn how." Tears filled Amara's eyes, not from fear this time, but from something else. Something that felt dangerously close to hope. When the priest asked if she took him as her husband, silence stretched. She saw fear flash across Min-suk's face. Real, raw fear. If she refused now, in front of everyone, it would humiliate him. But more than that, she'd lose whatever this was between them. "I do," she whispered. Relief crashed across his face so intensely he swayed. When the priest said he could kiss his bride, Min-suk pulled her close and kissed her like a drowning man finding air, like she was salvation, like she was everything. The kiss continued long enough that someone coughed. When they finally separated, he whispered against her lips, "Thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance." The penthouse felt different when they returned. Before, Amara had been a guest. Now she was his wife. The weight of that settled over her as Min-suk closed the door behind them. "Are you hungry?" he asked, suddenly seeming uncertain. "Tired?" "I'm terrified," she admitted. "This morning I woke up in your bed. Tonight I'm your wife. Everything happened so fast I can barely process it." He moved toward her slowly. "Then let's slow down. Talk. Get to know each other properly. After the wedding. Better late than never." He gestured to the couch. "Sit. Let me tell you who I really am." They talked for hours. He told her about his childhood, the beatings from his father, the training designed to erase empathy, the day he finally snapped and killed the man who tormented him for 16 years. "I was 16, he said quietly. "My father went too far. He made me watch as he tortured my best friend to death because I'd shown weakness by caring about someone. Something in me fractured that day. Or maybe it had been fracturing for years. Either way, I beat him to death with my bare hands." Amara should have been horrified, but instead she asked, "Did you regret it?" "I felt relief, which terrified me more than the act itself. It meant I'd become the monster he'd always wanted me to be." He looked at her. "For 16 years, I've lived with that, built walls around every feeling, became cold, efficient, untouchable. Until you." His hand found hers. "You make me want to feel again. Want to be more than my darkness. And that's terrifying because I have no idea how." Amara shifted closer. "Then we'll figure it out together. You teach me to survive your world. I'll teach you to feel again. Deal?" He pulled her into his lap and she went willingly. "Can I be honest about something else? Please. I'm nervous." He admitted, and she heard the vulnerability in his voice. "I've been with hundreds of women, but this is different. You're different. You're my wife, and I want to do this right. Make you feel cherished. Show you this is more than just physical." Amara's heart melted. This dangerous man was nervous about their wedding night because he cared about her feelings. "Then show me. Teach me what it means to be your wife." He kissed her then, slow, deep, worshipful. His hands moved with reverence instead of urgency, learning her body like she was sacred. When he finally carried her to the bedroom, every touch was a promise. "I'm going to take my time with you tonight," he whispered against her skin. "Show you how much you mean to me. Show you I can be gentle when it matters." And he did. For hours, he worshipped her body with his hands and mouth, bringing her to the edge repeatedly until she was trembling and begging. Only then did he finally join their bodies, moving with exquisite slowness that made tears leak from her eyes. "Why are you crying?" He paused immediately, concern flooding his face. "Because this feels like making love," she whispered. "Not just sex. And I didn't think you were capable of that." "Neither did I." He kissed away her tears. "But with you, everything is different. Everything matters more." They moved together through the night, learning each other's rhythms, finding pleasure in the connection. And when they finally collapsed together, exhausted and sated, Min-suk held her close and whispered, "Thank you." "For what?" "For seeing more in me than I saw in myself. For giving me a chance to be better. For becoming my wife even though I trapped you into it." He kissed her forehead. "For teaching me what it feels like to want someone's happiness more than my own." "That's love," Amara whispered sleepily. "Then I love you," he said simply. Messily, obsessively, imperfectly, but completely. "I love you, Amara. You still with me?" Comment below if you're feeling what I'm feeling right now, because this story is about to go somewhere none of us expected. She should have said it back, but exhaustion pulled her under before she could form the words. As she drifted off, she felt him pull her closer, felt his lips press against her hair, heard him whisper, "Mine." Finally, perfectly mine. 3 weeks into their marriage, Amara found the file. She'd been looking for printer paper in Min-suk's office when a locked drawer broke open. Inside was a thick folder labeled with her name. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Surveillance photographs, dozens of them. Her in Chicago. Her at her father's retirement party. Her in Seoul before they'd met, at cafes and restaurants, always unaware she was being watched. Bank statements, background checks, medical records, even her therapy notes from after her mother's death. But what made her stomach turn was a handwritten note. Amara Williams. 4 months of observation. Strong, isolated after mother's death. Perfect match. Proceed with approach. 4 months. He'd been watching her for 4 months before that supposed chance meeting. Everything, their conversation, the chemistry, the connection, had it all been engineered? "I can explain." His voice came from the doorway. She spun around, tears streaming down her face. "You stalked me for 4 months. That night at the club wasn't fate. It was calculated." He stepped inside, closing the door. For the first time since she'd met him, he looked afraid. Genuinely, deeply afraid. Yes. The simple confession shattered something inside her. Why? Was I just a game? A conquest? No. He moved toward her urgently. God, no. Amara, 4 months ago, I saw you at a business conference. You were presenting some marketing strategy. You were confident, brilliant, commanding that room. And when you laughed at something your colleague said, I felt something I'd never felt before. What? Longing. He ran his hand through his hair, struggling. This desperate need to know everything about you. To understand what made you laugh like that. To see if you'd look at me the same way you looked at your work, with passion and fire. So you stalked me like a psychopath. Her voice broke. You invaded my privacy. You read my therapy notes about my mother dying. How could you? Because I was desperate. He shouted back, then caught himself. When he spoke again, his voice was quieter but no less intense. I'm not good with feelings, Amara. I don't know how to approach someone I'm interested in like a normal person. So I did what I know. I investigated. I researched. I tried to understand you before I even spoke to you. That's not romantic. That's terrifying. I know. He looked genuinely anguished. I know it's wrong. I know it's a violation. But Amara, everything I learned about you just made me need you more. Your strength after losing your mother. Your dedication to your career. The way you rebuilt your life after heartbreak. You were everything I'd never had. Real, honest, feeling things deeply. And then you engineered our meeting. Tears streamed down her face. Made me think it was fate. Made me feel this connection when it was all manipulation. I put myself in your path, yes. He stepped closer, desperate. I made sure I was at that club. I approached you deliberately. But everything after, your laugh when I made that stupid joke, the way we talked for hours, the chemistry between us, I didn't manipulate that. I couldn't have. That was real. That was us. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. How do I know what's real and what's manipulation? How do I trust anything you say? You don't. He said it so simply it shocked her. You can't. Not yet. All I can do is spend every day from now on being completely honest. Showing you through actions that even though the beginning was wrong, everything after has been real. You should have told me. I know. He reached for her hands and she let him take them. I should have been honest from the start. But I was afraid. Of what? She laughed bitterly. You're not afraid of anything. I'm afraid of losing you. The confession burst out of him. I'm afraid every single day that you'll wake up and realize I don't deserve you. That you'll see me for the damaged, broken thing I am and leave. I'm afraid of being alone again after finally knowing what it feels like to be whole. His voice cracked on the last word, and Amara saw tears in his eyes. The first time she'd seen him cry. I'm afraid of going back to being empty after you filled all my hollow spaces. And I'm terrified that this, he gestured to the file, is the thing that finally makes you give up on me. If this hooked you already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment because what happens next will absolutely shatter your expectations. She stared at him, seeing past the powerful mafia boss to the broken man underneath. The man who'd never learned how to love properly, who'd been taught that emotions were weakness, who was trying so desperately to be better for her. I should hate you for this, she whispered. I know. I should demand a divorce. I know. His voice was barely audible. But I can't. She closed her eyes. Because despite the stalking, despite the manipulation, despite everything, what I feel for you is real. And I hate that. I hate that I understand why you did it. I hate that I can see your broken pieces and want to help fix them. She opened her eyes and met his gaze. I hate that I'm falling in love with the man who trapped me. Hope flared in his eyes, bright and desperate. Does that mean you forgive me? It means I'm trying to. She cupped his face, feeling his tears wet against her palms. But Min-suk, no more lies. No more secrets. If we're going to make this work, I need complete honesty from this point forward. Anything. He was almost frantic with relief. I'll tell you anything, everything. Just don't leave me. Please don't leave me. She kissed him then, not with passion but with understanding. I'm not leaving. But you have to earn my trust back. You have to prove that the man I'm falling for is real, not just another manipulation. I will. He pulled her close, holding her like she might disappear. I'll spend every day proving it. I swear. 2 months later, Amara got a call that made her heart stop. Baby girl. Her father's voice boomed through the phone. I'm at Incheon Airport. Surprise. Dad, you're in Seoul? Couldn't let my baby live halfway across the world without checking on her. Plus, I heard rumors you got married. His voice turned suspicious. To some Korean businessman you barely knew. What's going on, Amara? She looked at Min-suk, who'd overheard everything. He mouthed, bring him here. If you're still here, subscribe, because stories like this only work when people stay. An hour later, James Williams stood in their penthouse, all 6'4" of protective father energy. He was a retired police chief, and he looked at Min-suk with the suspicion of a man trained to spot threats. So you're the man who married my daughter after knowing her for a day? Yes, sir. Min-suk extended his hand. I'm Kang Min-suk. James didn't shake it. I did some research on the flight. You're not just a businessman. You run organized crime operations. My daughter married into the Korean Mafia. Amara stepped between them. Dad, it's complicated. It's not complicated. James's eyes never left Min-suk. Did he force you? Threaten you? Because if he did, we're leaving right now. I don't care who he is. He protected me, Amara said firmly. His enemies were targeting me. Marriage was the only way to keep me safe. That's a convenient excuse for trapping you. James finally looked at his daughter. Baby, you're smart, strong. You could have come home. You didn't have to marry some gangster. I love him. The words came out before she could stop them. Both men stared at her. She swallowed and continued. I know how it looks. I know it sounds crazy. But Dad, he's not what you think. He's broken and learning how to be whole, and somehow we're healing each other. James's expression softened slightly. He turned back to Min-suk. You love my daughter? More than life itself, Min-suk answered without hesitation. I know I don't deserve her. I know I trapped her into this marriage. But every day I wake up trying to be worthy of her, trying to be the man she needs. And if you fail? If you hurt her? Then I'll deserve whatever you do to me. Min-suk met his gaze steadily. But I won't fail. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'd rather die than lose her. James studied him for a long moment, then sighed. Show me. Show me how you treat her. Show me this isn't just pretty words. Over the next 3 days, James watched them. He saw how Min-suk made Amara breakfast every morning. How he listened when she talked about her day. How he looked at her like she hung the moon. How she'd softened him, made him laugh, brought out sides of him he'd probably never shown anyone. On the final morning before his flight, James pulled Min-suk aside. I'm still not happy about how this started. But I see how you look at her. Like she's your whole world. She is, Min-suk said simply. Then I have one request. James's voice turned hard. Keep her safe. Keep her happy. And if you ever hurt her, if you ever make her cry, I don't care what kind of power you have here. I will come back and end you myself. Understood? Understood. Min-suk extended his hand again. And thank you for trusting me with her. This time, James shook it. Don't make me regret it. After James left, Amara found Min-suk on the terrace, staring at the Seoul skyline. She wrapped her arms around him from behind. You did good. I was terrified, he admitted. Facing your father was scarier than facing my enemies. Because you actually care what he thinks. Because you care about me. He turned in her arms, pulling her close. I love you, Amara. I don't say it enough, but I do. You've become my entire world. I love you too. She said it clearly, meaning it completely. My broken, beautiful, dangerous husband. I love you too. Everything was almost perfect for another month. Then Park Joon-ho made his move. It started with flowers delivered to the penthouse. Blood-red roses with a note. Your husband took something from me. Now I'll take something from him. Min-suk's reaction was immediate and terrifying. He tripled security, refused to let Amara out of his sight, and became cold and distant, not with her, but with everyone else. This is what I feared, he said one night, pacing their bedroom. This is why I had to marry you so quickly. My enemies see you as my weakness. Then let's be smart about this. Amara stood, blocking his path. Stop treating me like I'm made of glass. Let me be your partner in this. Amara, no. She grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. I survived you, remember? I'm strong. I can handle this. But I can't handle you shutting me out. His expression cracked. I can't lose you. If something happened to you because of me, because of my world, his voice broke. I wouldn't survive it. Then stop trying to protect me alone. She kissed him softly. We face this together. As partners. As equals. The showdown happened a week later. Joon-ho demanded a meeting at a neutral location. Min-suk agreed, with Amara by his side despite every instinct screaming to hide her away. Joon-ho was handsome in a cold, calculated way. His eyes landed on Amara with clear appreciation. So this is the woman who tamed the great Kang Min-suk. I can see why. Stunning. Look at her again and I'll remove your eyes, Min-suk growled. Joon-ho laughed. So protective. Tell me, Mrs. Kang, do you know what your husband did to earn my hatred? Did he mention destroying my family's business? Getting my brother arrested? I know everything he's done, Amara said calmly. The good and the bad. And I chose him anyway. Even knowing he's a monster. He's my monster. She stepped forward, meeting Joon-ho's gaze steadily. And here's what you don't understand. I chose him knowing everything. Knowing his darkness, his past, his violence. You think threatening me will hurt him? It will. But it will also unleash something in him that you can't handle. She moved closer, voice dropping. I've seen what he becomes when someone he loves is threatened. And trust me, you don't want to be on the receiving end of that rage. Joon-ho's smirk faltered. He'd expected fear. Instead, he found someone who met him with equal confidence. You're either very brave or very stupid. I'm in love. She smiled. Which makes me both. But it also makes me dangerous, because I have everything to protect and nothing to lose. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut. Finally, Joon-ho laughed, genuine this time. I see why he's obsessed. You're not what I expected. He turned to Min-suk. Keep your territory. Your wife just negotiated better than any of my lawyers could. He headed for the door, then paused. But Min-suk, she's your greatest strength and your biggest weakness. Guard her well. After he left, Min-suk pulled Amara into his arms, shaking. You terrified me and turned me on and made me fall even more in love with you. Good. She grinned up at him. Now take me home and show me exactly how much. 6 months later, Amara stood in her new photography studio, the one Min-suk had helped her open. Her journey from creative director to artist was complete, surrounded by her work exhibited on pristine walls. Min-suk appeared beside her, sliding an arm around her waist. Proud of you. Couldn't have done it without you. She leaned into him. You could have. But I'm glad you didn't have to. He kissed her temple. I have something to tell you. What? I'm stepping back from the dangerous side of the business. Going legitimate. Hotels, restaurants, real estate. He turned her to face him. I want to be the man you can be proud of. The father our children can look up to. Tears filled her eyes. Children? He placed his hand on her flat stomach, eyes shining. I know. The doctor called me this afternoon. You're pregnant. She gasped. You knew before I did? They called looking for you and I answered. I hope that's okay. He looked suddenly uncertain. I wanted to tell you here, surrounded by your art, your dream. Because you gave me everything, Amara. Hope, love, a future. And now you're giving me a family. She threw her arms around him, laughing and crying. We're having a baby. We're having a baby. He pulled back, cupping her face. And I promise our child will grow up knowing love, knowing gentleness, knowing everything I never had. Because of you. Because you taught me how. You're going to be an amazing father. I'm going to try. He kissed her softly. Every day I'm going to try to be worthy of you both. As they stood together in the studio, surrounded by evidence of her dreams and the promise of their future, Amara realized something. Sometimes the wrong beginning leads to the perfect ending. Sometimes 6 hours of passion becomes a lifetime of love. And sometimes the most broken people find healing in each other's arms. I love you, she whispered. I love you more. He pressed his forehead to hers. Thank you for surviving me. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for teaching a monster how to be human. You were never a monster. She smiled through her tears. Just a man waiting for someone to see the light beneath all that darkness. And you're that light. He kissed her then, slow, deep, full of promise. My salvation. My everything. The afternoon sunset painted their living room gold as Min-suk chased their 3-year-old daughter around the couch. Her laughter, bright and pure, filled every corner of their home. Daddy, catch me. Soo-jin squealed, her curly hair bouncing. I'm coming. Min-suk roared playfully, making monster hands. Amara watched from the doorway, 7 months pregnant with their second child, her hand resting on her belly. This man, this dangerous, powerful, broken man, was on his hands and knees letting their daughter climb on his back. He caught Soo-jin and lifted her high, spinning until she shrieked with joy. When he finally set her down, dizzy and giggling, he looked over and caught Amara watching. The expression on his face made her breath catch. Pure, uncomplicated love. He walked over, pulling her gently into his arms, careful of her belly. Soo-jin wrapped herself around both their legs. What are you thinking? He murmured against Amara's hair. That I'm glad I survived those 6 hours. She smiled up at him. That I'm glad you trapped me. That I'm glad I fell in love with a beautiful monster who became a beautiful man. I'm still a monster sometimes, he warned, but his eyes were soft. I know. She kissed him. But you're my monster. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Soo-jin tugged on Min-suk's pants. Daddy, story time. He scooped her up, then offered his hand to Amara. Come on, Mama. Let's tell her about the night Daddy met Mommy. We're not telling her that version yet, Amara laughed. The edited version, he grinned. About how Daddy saw the most beautiful woman in the world and knew he'd move heaven and earth to keep her. As they settled onto the couch, Min-suk with Soo-jin in his lap and Amara tucked against his side, he looked at his family. His wife. His daughter. His unborn child. Once, he'd been a man who knew only darkness, who believed love was weakness, who thought he was beyond salvation. Then a woman survived 6 hours in his bed and changed everything. She didn't just survive him. She saved him. And every day since, he'd been proving he was worthy of that salvation. I love you, he whispered to Amara while Soo-jin babbled about her day. I know. She smiled, squeezing his hand. You tell me every day. And I'll keep telling you. He pressed a kiss to her temple. Every day for the rest of our lives. Because sometimes the most beautiful love stories start in the most broken ways. And sometimes the man who traps you becomes the man who sets you free. We've reached the conclusion of our compelling African-Korean story. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories that prove love can heal the deepest wounds. Share this story with someone if you survived this emotional journey with Amara and Min-suk. Your support means everything to me. Drop a comment below telling us if you would have said I do after 6 hours. Could you forgive the stalking? Let us know. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.